Hi there, my name is Chad Martin, and I'm the founder of Data Prep U. So my career started in data and analytics at a very small data marketing company. And our goal at the time was to work with newspapers, and we did several different things. We kind of started with data entry and then kind of moved into enriching that data with other demographic information and provided that information back to our customers. From there, I actually ended up getting an opportunity to move from my home state of Oklahoma over to the great state of Colorado, which I still reside in today. Now, this was back in 2006. And so since then, my career has grown by leaps and bounds. But at the time, I wasn't quite sure where I was going to go with it. Now, in 2007, I had another opportunity to join this company called SRC. SRC at the time provided some website or customized websites that really specialized in providing demographic information, again, to our customers. But the entire front end was pretty robust and actually really kind of fun to use. Not very many other platforms at the time did anything like that. And we created customized versions of this for each of our customers. While I was there, though, I started on the data team. So this was just building out data sets for our customers. And there was a relatively new piece of software that the CTO was developing called Alteryx. And at the time, I remember my very first day, my manager actually pulled me in his office and he said, "So I actually gave my 2 weeks notice this past Friday, right before you started. But one of our founders actually sold a solution using this software called Alteryx. Do you think you could figure it out?" And of course, at the time, I'm in my 20s, and I just wanted to make sure I kept a job. I just moved to Colorado a year before. I felt like I was still just exploring the whole area and learning more about this whole adventurous side of things. So I said, "Sure, I'll figure it out." Well, that turned into many sleepless nights. Just trying to figure out how to solve a problem. And I never really thought of things in data in terms of, drag and drop UI, but it just made sense. Creating this pipeline that took you from one place to the next. And then, allowed you to create tasks, in intermediate steps throughout the entire process. So naturally, I very much gravitated toward it. And it was something that I absolutely fell in love with. I fell in love with the process and the solutioning, and honestly, more than anything, the puzzle. Because to me, it was all a puzzle. Every time I see a solution or see a challenge from a customer, it's a puzzle to me, and I want to figure that out. So my career started growing, and in fact, 3 years later at that same company, the company actually rebranded itself into what is now known as Alteryx. So I was able to be very fortunate in that regard, and I saw the platform grow from a very early age into what it is now, in this fully robust, enterprise platform. But, at the time, like I said, I was just trying to solve puzzles. That was my goal. Over the years, my career, shifted and migrated, and I became much more customer facing, spending several years in customer support and learning how or what kind of problems and challenges our customers were experiencing, and really focused and found that I had a knack for coaching someone through a process. And I continued to hone that skill because I really enjoyed it. I got addicted to, others or helping others reach that aha moment. And really trying to understand, how they can solve this problem. And still to this day, we help users take these incredibly tedious tasks and turn them into something that just runs with the click of a button or on an automatic schedule, so they can actually spend their time in analyzing data. After all, we're all trained in data. At least in my industry, we're trained in data. We're trained in looking at data and trying to make educated decisions around that data. We're not trained, or we didn't go to school for copying and pasting data. And that's what we find out so many of our users are doing, or so many of our customers are doing. So I really began to hone in this entire educational process with a customer support role. But then from there, I migrated into more of a pre-sales role, sales or solutions engineering. So while in sales engineering, the goal was, prior to actually selling the software, and to be that technical resource. So my goal was to try to just help customers or prospects understand what the capabilities were. So I really began to develop that skill set and that ability to go in and try to ask the right questions. What are we really trying to accomplish here? And honestly, one of the biggest things that I learned throughout that process was often just to let the customer speak and to listen. And often they would reveal other things about their process or about their career or about their job that they didn't even know was an issue. So that became part of our process, was just to truly understand and listen to what they were trying to accomplish, because often we would find other areas that they didn't even know existed, or other areas of improvement that they didn't know existed. So all of this boils down to around 2017. My wife and I actually took some time off. We traveled around, and we're very fortunate to have traveled all over the world, and having been able to set foot on all 7 continents, which is something we're very proud of, and being able to do just in our lifetime. We were off on one of these adventures, and I had this idea. I said, I'm seeing an opportunity here to continue down this educational path. I really enjoy it. I love teaching others, but at the same time, there's clearly a need here. But also, I understand why so many people haven't done it, because it's hard to create quality materials, to create a quality training program or educational program that truly helps a business user succeed is very time consuming. It takes a lot of effort. But it's an effort that we personally feel is worth it, just because we find that personal satisfaction in helping others achieve those same aha moments that we did. So I recognized this opportunity, had a conversation with my wife, and just said, I really want to pursue this. This is something I'm passionate about, and I know that I can make this work. So 6 months later, and January 2nd, actually, 2018, Data Prep U was born. Originally, Data Prep U was meant to be just a one-person shop. I would come in and swoop in and be the hero and teach someone how to perform a specific task, and help coach them through why we would use certain tools or a certain methodology. But then I came to a crossroads in that I knew that there was more that I wanted to be able to provide to our customers. And so they could actually take full advantage of some of this software that they purchased. Our goal was not necessarily upselling them. It was just making sure that they got the full value out of what they were purchasing, which is, again, also not easy to do in many cases. But because of that specific background, I had that very unique background that gave me that opportunity. So being able to come in and show others what to do, started to gain some traction. So ultimately, I was continually struggling to see, others take full advantage of the software that they had purchased, and realize that, being a one-person shop wasn't going to work. Because ultimately, our goal is not just to, come in and swoop in and do one specific thing. We want to be there with our customers through that entire journey. If they're just beginning and they've only been using Excel for their entire career, but they know that they might be able to integrate a better platform to create this analytic automation, or a better visualization, something that maybe Excel just doesn't have the capability to do yet. Potentially in Power BI or Tableau or Click. Those sorts of software are very popular in the marketplace right now, but a lot of times, there's still this foundation around that many people just don't quite grasp yet. And it's not for any other reason than they haven't been provided an actual training, an actual expert that can go in and show them, hey, here's the basics, of dashboard building. When you're actually trying to create a report for someone, what information is actually relevant? How do you provide enough information in one particular report or dashboard? How do you provide that information without giving too much information, without overwhelming that customer? And many people just have never had experience with that. The same goes for using the Alteryx platform, where many people are so used to copying and pasting. I will often get on a coaching session with someone who's been leveraging this platform for years, and I'll still notice that the very first couple of things that they do is they'll open Excel and do a little bit of cleanup work. So of course, for me, that's an opportunity to show them something better. So as these platforms evolve, as our customers' processes evolve, our goal is to be there with them so we can help them with that journey. We can leverage our expertise and in many cases, our pain, the pain that I've gone through personally, in staying up very, very sleepless nights trying to solve a particular problem. We understand that. We've been there, and we want to help our customers alleviate that as well. So from there, we've continually grown our presence on the education side of things. And ultimately, whenever I resigned from Alteryx, the company, and began Data Prep U, I wasn't entirely sure where it would lead. But now I can confidently say that I am so incredibly proud of where we've come. Once I recognized that opportunity of, growth and potentially being able to create something that brought in others, that was a game changer. And it was something that, maybe isn't for everyone, but it's something that we truly believe in. And not only helping to educate our own associates, but to educate our customers as well. Now that's ultimately even led to, additional capabilities for us. We've grown to actually assisting our customers in building projects as well. So whether it's an Alteryx workflow or Tableau report or dashboard, we've been building those out, but with one primary focus at the very top, and that is always education. Our goal is to educate our customers. So we're educating whether we're just handing off something that maybe our customers don't plan on actually updating themselves. They just want to click the button and have it run. We can teach them how to do that. If they want to actually learn how to update a specific process or a workflow or a dashboard themselves, we do that. If they want just some over-the-shoulder coaching to help explain and collaboratively work together for a solution or for a project, we can do that. So our goal at the very top, as I had said, is all about education. That's what we want. We want to educate those who haven't necessarily been given the opportunity to learn from an expert.